What is going on, everybody? It is Max with Buzz Talks, and I'm back with another Game of Thrones Season 7 news video. In these videos, I go on the Watchers on the Wall website, and I give my thoughts on the latest news to break. Now, I just want to quickly issue a huge spoiler warning for all you guys out there. If you don't want to know anything about Game of Thrones Season 7, you've come to the wrong video, alright? But let's get right into it. Now, firstly, I want to talk about Sam and Gilly, and we have some pictures from them on set, and they are leaving Oldtown, and they are wearing very warm attire, it looks like. There was also a picture showing Matt Shakman, or Shakeman, I don't know how to say it, and that is actually the director of episodes 4 and episodes 5. So we're actually going to be seeing Sam leave Oldtown relatively early. Now this begs a couple of questions. First of all, why is he leaving? And there could be many factors. Maybe he feels like he has knowledge that he needs to leave and spread, but that could be sent through a raven. So I feel like there is something that is pushing him to leave. Possibly it is an event that occurs that entices Sam to leave. Like, for example, we know that Highgarden is being taken over by the Lannisters. And I think maybe Sam feels unsafe because the south of Westeros is kind of being overtaken by Lannister soldiers, and he knows that his family is also allied with the Lannisters, so he may take it upon himself to quickly go north and ally himself with Jon and Daenerys and all those folks. And also, Bran could be communicating with Sam. And I think people are really underestimating Sam. He is a really important character. And we know that the Three-Eyed Raven is watching Sam. I interpreted the scene when the White Walker came to take the baby. I took it as the Night's King is actually can see through weirwood trees, and so can the Three-Eyed Raven. And the Three-Eyed Raven sent all of those crows to save Sam, to let him know that somebody is coming, and then pushed him in the right direction with all of his crows. And I think it's going to be the same thing with Bran. I think Bran is going to be watching over Sam, and I think he's going to see the importance, and somehow Bran is going to send Sam north, because he has to, because the fight between the White Walkers and the humans are about to begin. I also think he could be leaving because of a Oldtown Citadel conspiracy. I think Sam is going to be learning about magic. He's going to be learning about the higher mysteries at his time there. And I think we're going to get a little bit of culture. And it's going to come directly from the books, where the majority of the people of the Citadel and the majority of the Maesters are very science-based. They do not trust magic because magic is unpredictable. And for this reason, I think they are going to be, obviously siding more with Cersei, because Daenerys has dragons. And taking power with dragons seems almost inhonorable in a sense. And we know that since Sam is leaving so early, there is no possible way he could become a Maester. It takes years and years of training to become a Maester, and that's what Sam always wanted. But what Sam has also always wanted is to be a wizard. He said in Season 1 that he always wanted to be a wizard. And I think Sam is really going to get his wish. I think in Season 7, we're going to see Sam educate himself in the higher mysteries to learn about White Walkers, to further learn how to defeat them. And the higher mysteries pretty much is the Game of Thrones way of saying magic. So I don't think Sam will become a full Maester. I think he will only learn about the higher mysteries, and therefore he will really become a wizard. And what I find really interesting about this is when you have mastered the higher mysteries, you receive a link out of Valyrian steel. And I think it would be so amazing if Sam made the link of Valyrian steel from his father's sword. I think it'd be really interesting how a sword that represents strength and power and the Tarly name has been passed down from generation to generation. And Sam is not a fighter, so he melts it down and forges who he wants to be and what legacy he wants to carry on to his family. And I think Sam's knowledge about melting down this Valyrian steel is very important, because now we have Gendry, who is a great blacksmith, but doesn't know how to melt down Valyrian steel. And I think Sam is the perfect candidate to try and teach Gendry how to forge Valyrian steel with what he has learned at the Citadel. Now, going on to other news, we have some pictures of the crew filming in King's Landing. We got Cersei, Jaime, the Mountain, and Jaime Pottiswa. And Jaime Pottiswa is actually the director of Episode 1 and Episode 7. And we see a lot of interesting things. We see the new armor for the Kingsguard, and they're really black and depressing, and they got kind of the Queen's crown now put on their breastplate. So Cersei is really getting comfortable. And I believe that this is episode 1. I think it's really the introduction to Cersei being queen in King's Landing. However, there is another clip of snow arriving in King's Landing. We see snow fall over King's Landing. Now, I have a question for you guys in the comment section down below. I want to know, do you think that this is episode 1 or episode 7? When do you think snow will arrive in King's Landing? I think both are equally likely. However, I'm going to lean towards the finale. I think it would be very significant if the wall came down and the White Walkers were a huge threat now to Westeros, and then we see snow fall over King's Landing. And then you go into season 8 with just complete coverage of snow. And we see an interesting character arrive in King's Landing, and that is Euron Greyjoy. And he is going to be having an alliance with Cersei. And whether he talked to Cersei before he made this alliance, or maybe he's proving his worth to her, he arrived with Yara Greyjoy, Ellaria, and Tyene Sand. I don't know if I said her name right, but you gotta be patient with me. And this is huge news, because now we know that there was an attack, there was a ship battle earlier in the season, and Euron Greyjoy ended up taking these people captive. And this ship attack probably happens in episode 2, and Euron arriving in King's Landing probably occurs in episode 3. And we know this because we have seen Mark Mylod directing this episode. So this means a lot. Obara and Nymeria Sand are probably dead, and they probably die in episode 2, which is great for me because I hated Obara. Obara really annoyed me, I'm sorry. And it looks like they're trying to completely eliminate the Sand Snake plot. And we know one person does escape, and that's Theon, and his struggle this season is going to try and gain leadership over his people, and they're just not going to respect him. But then the most important question is what happens to Yara, Ellaria, and Tyene. I think it's pretty safe to say that Ellaria and Tyene are dead. They're going to be killed. I think Cersei's going to definitely torture them for what they've done to her daughter. But with Yara, I don't really know. I think they're probably going to keep her, hold her captive, maybe torture her, unfortunately, to try and get information from her. And they may use her as a bargaining chip. However, I don't know if that's Cersei's way. But all I know is that she's a huge asset because Daenerys' force think that in their new world, she will lead the Ironborn. And that goes to my last story. The crew has been seen in Belfast. We see Kit Harington, Ian Glenn, Christopher Hara, and Joseph Mawle. And for those of you who don't know, that's Jon Snow, Tormund, Jorah, and Benjen Stark. And we also know that they're going to be filming a big action scene that we are aware of. It's going to be over the wall, and they're possibly... Well, I think it's confirmed that they actually are going to be looking for that white, no matter how much I like that or not. And Alan Taylor is actually going to be directing this action sequence. And this is going to be in episode 6. So they're still going to have the second last episode be the huge action set piece. And what I love about this is season 7 is going to be a huge variety of action. It's going to be unbelievable. We're going to have the Greyjoy ship battle, which isn't going to feel anything like a fantasy show. We're going to see the Lannisters versus Daenerys' army. That's going to incorporate a lot of things. We're going to have characters that we love on both sides. We're going to have Jaime and Bronn versus Daenerys, Grey Worm, Tyrion, all these people. And it's going to be a typical war with swords, but also there's going to be dragons thrown into that. So that's going to be really interesting to see. But now this set piece is going to be unbelievable, and I think it's going to be an action set piece that we have never truly seen before. It's going to really raise the stakes in fantasy. And it wouldn't surprise me. In the leak, they said that we would see polar bears. Honestly, that wouldn't surprise me. I think they really want to shock us with the fantasy element in this show. And we're going to see dragons in this fight and possibly the resurrection of Viserion. And if you follow the 3 heads of the dragon theory, Viserion would have been Tyrion's dragon. I feel like they haven't really put in information to suggest that Tyrion is a Targaryen in the show. So it makes sense if they did kill off his dragon. But if you guys know me and you know my predictions, it shocks me that they would bring a dragon back in season 7. Because I do feel like it's too soon, and I always felt like he would kill and resurrect Drogon instead. And the reason why Bran would have to fly is because he'd have to warg into Viserion and Rhaegal in order for them to attack Drogon. Because they wouldn't attack their alpha brother, so Bran would have to take that role and warg into them. But that's just my thoughts. So the next couple weeks we're going to be taking a break on the news videos because they're not going to be filming. Filming is actually going to be pushed until the holidays are over, and they're going to be filming until February. So that's really exciting. And I have more Game of Thrones theory videos in the works, even though I haven't really worked on them recently. I just finished school, so now I can really dedicate myself to YouTube. And I just want to say, all of you out there, have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And I will be coming out with more videos later. See you guys.